So today I had an interesting conversation with a lady about artificial sugars, and this is what she had to say. Well, Samuel, if I had to choose between a Coke and a Diet Coke, I would choose the Coke because it's natural. No! What's up, you guys? Sam Dixon here, and today we're going to talk about the dangers of artificial sugars and the sugars itself in our society, how it's a problem. Now first, let's address sugars, because I think society has a big role in this problem that we're facing that might be a little bigger than you think. For breakfast, for instance, let's say we go for groceries. What do society projects us to eat for breakfast? What is society telling us that we should be eating, right? So cereals, croissants, scones, potatoes, right? Carbs, and a little bit of eggs, right? So basically, all carbs, which is the worst thing that you can actually eat in the morning, technically, because it does make you tired, and it's energy that you'd need to use right away, which you're not. So the worst thing to do is eat carbs, and that's all there is in society, period. We got Tim Hortons, McDonald's, everything on the menu is basically carbs because it's easy. Now, I hate to say this, but we are being manipulated by society. For example, when we buy yogurt, we see, we're attracted by what? The fat-free yogurt, right? Because fat is obviously something we don't want to have in our diet because we don't want to get fat. It makes sense, right? Well, actually, it doesn't. Because a good yogurt is actually a good base of fat, and that's the main ingredient of yogurt. You don't want, for instance, sugar in your yogurt because that spikes up your insulin, and therefore you need to burn the energy right away, and it creates a lot of problems that we will see later on. So society always labels everything about low fat, buy this, but they replace the fat with sugar, and we're confused. We just buy it, we feel great because we're not getting fat. To be honest, I'm really happy to share this information because sugar cravings, all these things have been a big part of my life, and for me to share this information is awesome. If you find this any valuable at all, please take 2 seconds and like and subscribe my page, my YouTube channel. This helps a lot. Thank you. Now let's get back to it. I feel like people underrate sugars because they are so addictive. They are, okay? In case you don't know, sugar is even more addictive than cocaine. I said it, cocaine, yes. Sugar is more addicting than cocaine. Let's look at the stats here. Lenoy and colleagues showed that rats find high levels of sweetness for non-nutritive saccharin or sucrose more rewarding than cocaine, even for rats that were already dependent on cocaine. I mean, this is crazy, right? This is every article, by the way, will be posted at the end of the video, so you will see all my research that I've done earlier to present this video. And I mean, it's really crazy. Imagine if we had cocaine all over the place, people get dependent, and it's just a thing. Well, that's pretty much what it is in society, but it's sugar. We're just not aware of it. But actually, when we have sugar, let's say for breakfast, when I eat crushed pancakes in the morning, maple syrup, let's go, let's binge out. Well, at night, 100% guaranteed, I will be craving so much food, and it's a vicious circle. The brain goes crazy, and you start craving, you feel that dependence, and it's like, so obviously if your diet is literally based of fast food, just high corn syrup, just sugars all over the place, just reconstruct food that is not natural, that is added sugar, preservatives, all that stuff. It's really bad because you actually get addicted to that lifestyle, addicted to eating those things, and you always eat more. You eat more dense food that has more calories, and it's a vicious circle of overeating because you tell your brain that you need more food than you actually need to consume. So this kind of means that we are all predisposed, like someone who's addicted to drugs, well, we are more prone to be addicted to sugar. So we're predisposed by genetics and environmental factors. So here's what it said. A recent study exploring the heritability of high sugar consumption and substance use disorders found that these two phenomena were correlated, and that both genetic and environmental factors, 59% and 41%, correspondingly explain the variability in the relationship. So this is evidence, that sugar is so addicting, and those personalities, like, to be honest, I have an addicting personality, I know. When it comes to like gambling, to substances, like I have no addiction, don't get me wrong, but I know I could be, I know I have the desires, the drive, all these things combined that when I actually eat sugar, I know the drive, I want more, I want more all the time. It's crazy. You can totally tell that this is kind of an addiction, and it's a very big problem because what's accessible on the market is mainly carbs and sugars for everything. right? Now, don't get me wrong, sugars are not bad, okay? When you do sports, when you're a high-level athlete and you finish a sport or any workout, let's say, I finished doing legs at the gym for 2 hours, big smash lunch, we need carbs. We need carbs, fast-acting carbs, sugars right away to replenish the glycogen levels. So yes, carbs are very important at the right time. But for basic people, just let's say you work at the government, you have a job that requires no physical activity whatsoever, so you don't want to have sugars because you're not able to burn them. Your body doesn't use it as fuel. So we kind of have to choose what is the right fuel for us, right? So when I make a diet plan for someone, a customized meal plan, you really have to look what is what calories are you burning during the day? Like what kind of energy do you need? So this leads us to our main subject of discussion, which are artificial sweeteners, okay? They were introduced far more than 100 years ago, but basically in 1980s, that's when they actually got legal and hit the market hard and replaced tons of sugars in American diets and burned so much fat. Well, we'll see if that's the case, but in the anyhow, it's actually a great replacement for sugar because you substitute the calories from all the sugar calories to zero. But here's what we need to know. Artificial sweeteners are synthetic chemicals that stimulate the sweet taste buds on our tongue. They're pretty much found everywhere, as in desserts, chewing gum, diet pops, etc. So there's a lot of artificial sweeteners that creates that synergetic sugar feeling, but without the calories. So before making this video, I had my, j'avais mon hypothèse en français. I had my little idea that actually when you indulge those artificial sugars, it does pretty much the same thing as a sugar except the calories, right? The same physiological response activates the taste buds, signal to your brain to release insulin, and then you actually take care of the carbs and but there's no carbs, so it's kind of like you cried a wolf kind of thing, right? So if you do it too often, then your body's not going to respond and your insulin's going to be resistant in that way. So this is typically like the story of someone who eats a piece of cake before going to bed every night, right? So you shove a piece of cake, carrot cake, which is my favorite, every night. So at night, take the cake, you get all warm, right? You burn calories, you start sweating, you feel the effect, you got to burn some calories, you feel it, the body, like it's heat, it's sugar, you want to go. The next day, the same thing. In 2 weeks, not the same thing. Body gets used to it, you just don't get hot. You eat the same piece of cake, but the body doesn't use it as it did before. So your body creates an insulin resistance, and this is where it becomes dangerous. This is where the majority of the population is in the same little category and is unhealthy and is unable to use the carbs efficiently and to transform them into energy. And this is where I thought false sugar did the same thing, so that's why you have to be careful, but actually I was wrong. Let's take a look here. In healthy subjects, appetite and short-term food intake, risk of cancer, risk of diabetes, risk of dental caries, weight gain, and risk of obesity are the most investigated health outcomes. Overall, there is no conclusive evidence for beneficial and harmful effects on those outcomes, period. That's the resume, but basically, there's some articles out there that explains a mild little difference, but there's nothing really explaining. So actually, there's no belief that leads us to believe that this is actually a thing, right? So we can consume those fake sugars and consume in moderation, and it does not really allow the insulin resistance, so it does not trigger the insulin, so we are safe. So to answer the little question of the lady I spoke to today, well, you are totally wrong. You should actually have the Diet Coke because it won't kill you having one Diet Coke. If you have 20 a day, maybe this is something long-term that's not going to be beneficial for sure, like anything else. If you eat 20 bags of carrot a day, well, something wrong is gonna go, and it's just common sense. But wait, there are two concerns though we need to discuss. First, sucralose has been in a couple studies shown that it does elevate insulin levels, so there is a mild response to sucralose and acesulfate potassium. All right, so here's what it says. 2 recent studies have found that beverages containing sucralose, Splenda, and acesulfame potassium increases insulin levels while drinking water didn't. So compared to water, there's a little difference, but then again, nothing really dramatic about it. Obviously, it's a little balance here and there. A little Splenda is way better than natural sugar for sure, and that's not a big issue. The second thing is actually our gut, okay? Our gut health, okay? Our bacteria in the gut that is very important to stay healthy, and this is something very important to talk about because I had issues with that. I still have issues. I take a lot of probiotics because I've taken tons of carbohydrate drinks, okay, pops that are diet pops, those waters that they sell now, it's very popular. So when you take a lot of those, a lot of artificial sweeteners, it breaks down all the good bacteria in your stomach, and then this is a problem. So other than bloating, gases, joint pain, eczema, memory loss, headaches, etc., inflammation would be the main problem that comes with a bad gut, and that's huge. Inflammation affects the whole body, the digestion, the energy level, even the sleep. So sometimes when you actually have a bad gut, a bad digestion, your sleep goes bad, and then it's a big vicious circle. So that's why having good bacteria lining is so important, okay? So I've been to the point where my sleep was bad. All of these symptoms, I kind of had it, and yes, the gases, I did have them. And it was bad. Then I felt like just not in shape. I couldn't recuperate well. So this effect. So I started reducing all these things and just focusing on drinking water, and it helped a lot. So obviously moderation is key here when it feels to that. This is one of the articles that I found that resumes pretty much like what we talked about. Sucralose, aspartame, and saccharin, all widely used to reduce energy content in foods and beverages to promote satiety and encourage weight loss, have been shown to disrupt the balance and diversity of gut microbiota. So it just tells us that here, I think balance is key, right? There's no, if you have a little Splenda here and there, it won't kill you. If you have tons of Splenda and everything, you're going to start craving, you're going to start having all these issues related, and you're going to have to scrap your intestines. That's not good. So we want to keep it clean. We want to keep it healthy. So we want our food to taste good also. So when you do a protein pancake, add in a little scoop of protein that has Splenda in it, add the sugar content that you actually will love your protein pancake instead of having that sugar in it. It's way better to reduce the sugars for sure, So let's switch it up. We want to stay healthy, but we want to stay fit also. So we want to have all of the above. Enjoy your food, enjoy your stuff. So I think here we just looked at the big picture that there is a problem in society, but it's for us to kind of make a stand, to make food that we like, to make the choices, to have a little bit of natural sweeteners that we can actually, artificial sweeteners that we can add to our diet, add to our daily lives without exaggerating. I'm telling you from a personal standpoint of view, I've had so much at one point. Every time I start binge eating like crazy, happens once in a while. We'll discuss it through another video. As you guys know, I'm really open about everything, and I think that's cool. We're going to learn from each other's mistakes, and just enhance our better self. But literally, sugar, you take a lot of false sugar, and it just makes your brain just go crazy. You want more, and you start just eating tons of food that you're not even hungry for. So it's just not a good relationship. But we can take it in small amounts and replace. If you're really craving, for me especially, when I go to a restaurant, I have a Diet Coke. I try not to drink that every day, but like I go to a restaurant, I have a clean meal, and Diet Coke's like my little treat. I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. It can seem lame, but if you make it as a treat, it's actually satisfying. You feel good, and I don't even have any calories, excess calories that I have. So I don't need to do an hour cardio after and feel bad, right? Did that, done that. Now it's more balanced. So it's all about balance. Hope you guys loved this video. I'm going to be making a lot more videos, content that is related to fitness, training, nutrition, motivation, everything about fitness and health. And if you guys want to discuss widely the discussion, your personal experiences, what you think, subscribe to the channel, comment on this video, and I will write back to you. I think it's time that we build a little community and we get to know more about the discussions that we don't feel like people are really talking about in a real way. So I'm going to talk about everything because it needs to be talked about, and because everyone has their little issues, their concerns, their misbeliefs about stuff, and we're here to tell the truth, to speak the truth, and to just become better at being healthier. All right, so stay tuned, guys, for more videos. Thanks a lot. Share this video. Love y'all. See y'all.